Well, these two women teach third and fourth grade. So
That's
as you
beautiful.
mentioned earlier, they're young kids. These kids are 8, 9, 10 years old. They're in elementary school. Sadiqa's students are on the verge of going to middle school. And, to hear even Sadiqa tell me, she tells her students, get your hands up. It's my job to make sure that you understand everything that I'm teaching you. And
Mm-hmm.
if you don't understand, you're the one that has to let me know that. So she's doing a lot of work in trying to get kids to discover their own agency. And
Absolutely.
sometimes they don't know that, right? So if you were talking to a group of kids, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I think I want to just thank both of those ladies for the work that they do, and I just feel like they have very warm classes, just with how warm they've been with me just now. So thank you. I don't know how often you just hear that, but thank you. I think I would say something along those lines as well. Continue, be curious, and try different things. And it's okay to not. You're not going to be good at everything the first time, and keep trying. You should be able to ask teachers questions. And if teachers are just getting frustrated with you asking questions about the thing that they're supposed to be masters in, that's more of I think that's a them problem and not yours. I think I would also teach them that there are going to be times where people are going to respond to you in ways that's not right or appropriate. And it's part of life. So how do we deal with that when it happens? I think that we've been talking about safe spaces and this. I think the term is a misnomer. I don't know if that's a thing that really truly exists. And I know we're talking about young kids as far as third, fourth, and fifth grade and all that, but there are a lot of social codes and cues that I had to learn early on, like living in the places that I lived. So I would say, stay hopeful. This is the time when you are trying to like be an explorer. And I would talk about, when I was younger, and it was like one family on the block that had this thing called Encyclopedia Britannica. And like that was the coolest family because they just had these books that talked about everything. And now you got that in your pocket. So like you can use these devices to be on TikTok and watch videos that entertain you. And you can also use them as bases of knowledge. Like, and I would tell them to name me some of their favorite people. And some might say, Rosa Parks or Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or Michael Jordan or whomever. And I'll say, you got more information and knowledge in this than all of them ever had access to. And like I would figure out and challenge them on things that they could learn about. I like to do things with younger kids for parents where we'll build YouTube playlists. Like, look, they can watch Roblox and do all that. But if they can give us 20 minutes on this and we can have a conversation about it, I think that would be dope. And what I would say, this isn't fully appropriate for the third through fifth graders, but these teachers are smart enough to put it in context. I do follow this rule. I call it the AND rule, the AND. And it's awareness, navigation, and duty. When kids are leaving your class, teachers, or as a student listening to this, are you more aware? Are you more aware of what you didn't know? Are you more aware of your surroundings? Are you more aware of the circumstances in which you're living and what that means? N is for navigation. And this is really, really important to me because a lot of the stuff as a kid was always future stuff. It was always something that's coming, but they weren't preparing me to deal with the right now. Like poverty is not going to end tomorrow. So how do I navigate this current system to get the things that I need or that's going to help me? So, if you got kids that's about to go to middle school, that's very frightening for a lot of kids. And middle school, God bless middle school teachers. It's the reason why those 2 grades used to be off to the side away. Like it was like kindergarten through 5, and then 9 through 12, and then those 3 grades where the metamorphosis of humanity happens. It's the weirdest cacophony of smells you will ever have in life. Like middle school is a social project that we will rethink one day, right? That's why you're starting to see K8s and 612s, right? But I'm just saying they're about to be in this new vast world. How are you helping them get ready to navigate that? How are you helping them navigate whatever it is? And then building a sense of duty. Once you know better, how do you do better? How do you teach other people that? So I had to learn how to read my own transcript when I was in high school and I played ball, and I was pretty good, and a lot of my friends were pretty good. But if we didn't have the right GPA and take the right classes, then we weren't eligible for certain college programs we wanted to play with. So a counselor didn't do that. I would sit with some of my friends and be like, hey, I learned this. Why don't you bring your thing? Let's look at it together and let's see what we can do. So even from an early age, you can be impactful. You can do that in the 5th grade. You can do that in the 3rd grade. When you learn how to do the tables first, all right, well, cool. Well, why don't you help out these people and like, let's figure it out. I also believe in starting the mentor-mentee relationships early. It's never too early for that. So if you got a really good 3rd grader if you got a 3rd grader that can read really well, you know, hook them up with kindergartners and where they're reading to them or doing that. And it by being a mentor, right? It's not just the value of being a mentee. Being a mentor, it makes you mature. It actually makes you be better. And I think that, you know, I did the best in school when I had a job and a purpose. So it's like, you know, and if a young person's struggling with something, a lot of times if you dig deep, they just don't feel like they got a purpose or something to do. You know, I usually get a rowdy kids a job and they usually flourish in it, right? So that's some of the scattered advice. It would be a lot funner. I'd smile more. I'd crack more jokes with it, and I'd make it age appropriate. But that's how I would kind of have those conversations.